Woods to our online hard questions series. We're taking any and all questions on the Bible, theology, and how to live as a Christian, and we're going to discuss and dialogue on those as a church. In addition, it is not too late to submit your own question. Go to bigwoods.org and click on the hard questions link to submit your own question. Now, here is our question for this week. What is the meaning of Ezekiel chapter 1? I don't understand it at all. It's a good question. Ezekiel chapter 1 is probably one of the most complex and elaborate prophetic sections in the entire Old Testament. It is incredibly detailed. And to understand its meaning, I think we almost need to, instead of diving deeper into the text, we need to back out and take a look at the big picture. So our first question really should be, what is the book of Ezekiel about overall? Ezekiel was a prophet. He spoke to the community that was soon to be forced from their home. Ezekiel 1 to 23 takes place before the siege and the destruction of Jerusalem, while chapters 24 and afterwards take place either during or after this event. Now, on top of this, the people had broken faith with God. As a prophet, Ezekiel functions as the spokesperson for God to Israel. The primary purpose of Ezekiel's message was to restore and declare God's holiness and glory to people who had rejected God in front of all the other nations. Now, the book of Ezekiel is also really complex, literally, I think you could say, due to the variety of genres which are a part of it. It's actually best to read and understand this book in its sections first. Chapters 1 to 3 are sort of an introductory vision. Chapters 4 to 24 contain judgments against Jerusalem and Judah. Chapters 25 to 32 are judgments against foreign nations. Chapters 33 to 39 are about after the fall of Jerusalem. And chapters 40 to 48 contain the vision of restoration. I'm not saying there isn't unity across the entire book. There is. But it's easier to understand the book in its parts first and then put them all together. Now, onto your particular question about Ezekiel chapter 1. Ezekiel 1 to 3 gives us an introduction for the dating and the author of the book. Ezekiel's visions and message are actually more frequently dated within the text than most other Old Testament prophets. Ezekiel 1, 4 to 25 contains the vision of the advancement of the throne room's entourage, you could say. The creatures, and I would assume they're a type of angelic being, are incredible and awe-inspiring. The wheels that are described in the passage are complex and intricate, and the wings of the creature shield and form a barrier before the throne until they are set down in verse 24. In the final few verses, there's a brief description of the glory of the throne and the glory of the Lord. Now, why is there this incredible long description of these creatures, but then when it comes to the Lord himself, it's very short? Now, here's my opinion. It's recorded as such because that is the best Ezekiel could do. He sees the intricacies, he sees the incredibleness of what precedes the throne, but then when he sees the glory of God, it is so immense, Ezekiel is unable to describe it. This is similar to Revelation chapter 4, where the cherubim and the elders around the throne in Revelation chapter 4 are described in great detail, but the Lord himself is not. So rather than the meaning, let's talk about the purpose of Ezekiel 1. I would say it's for us to step back, for us to take a step back and see the amazing, the awe-inspiredness of these creatures, of the wheel, of everything that's described in Ezekiel 1. And then recognize that the Lord is so much more. He is so much more glorious. He is so much more awe-inspiring. He is so much more incredible than anything that precedes it. That God is beyond our ability to understand, to fully describe, and that God is so much more glorious than we can comprehend. That is what I would argue is the purpose of Ezekiel 1. Yeah, we see all these descriptors of the creatures and the wheel and everything, but it's really to point towards how much more glorious, how much more amazing everything God is than all of those things. So, hope that helps, and we will see you guys back next week for another episode of Heart Questions.